hood bag. I do it for the city on my Robin Hood swag. With bands after bands formulating in my hands, nigga, I'ma be the man till I got a foot tag. Just another day in this life. It's like a movie with no cameras on my craziest nights. Cup of Henny over ice, call it gravy and rice. Now roll a kush up in the wood, blowing good till we beaming up to alien heights. Wearing coaches to the club like Prodigies. The birds trying to flock and we ain't eating in the lobby. We got the parking lot, pouring shots of Bacardi to the top. Yeah, we call it a masala block party. Let your curiosity ride.
Mad Bricks webcast,
where the human spirit flies. Mad Bricks webcast, where the human spirit flies.
Hey, welcome to the Mad Bricks webcast. This is Ramana Namaraju. I'm the host. We have a guest is coming up soon. So let me bring my co-host, my son, Ramesh Alexander Anamaraju. That song you just heard is a neuroscience graduate from Vanderbilt, and then masters in biomedical sciences from Georgia. Now he is a researcher in the clinical researcher in the gastroenterology, and he's doing a neuroscience research and all kinds of clinical trials. Let me bring my son to the table. Welcome to the Mad Bricks webcast, Ramesh. So joining with the dad is a kind of a new thing for you, right?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, this is probably my third time joining the call with you, but it's always good to just kind of see how you make everything flow and
You
introduce
saw
yourself.
our podcast growing from single place, some in the back roads to all the way we grow big time, and you are witnessing to that. So you're right now. Just give me an introduction. What you're doing nowadays, and how is Atlanta weather? Just give me a couple of things. You got engaged, right? Congratulations. You're a wonderful girl, Nisha Kauri. Nisha, from Punjab. I live in a world of Punjabi world here. And excellent food here, let me tell you that. So tell me a little bit about your engagement, and then what are the plans?
Yeah. So the engagement was on June 3rd. Which is numerology. It's a special day for us. But yeah, basically, I took her to this restaurant in front of a waterfall. And she loved it. We customized the menus and everything like that. And since then we've been enjoying it and doing some planning here and there, just to kind of figure out how we want to get it, how we want to do it, and how we want to celebrate and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with it right now.
If 11-year-old kid that has that kind of understanding of quantum physics, mathematics, and space, what that means? It means we all have the capacity to learn at that age, or is exceptionally something genetically moved on to something, or we find out how we learn those things, can we adopt that?
So I think it's a mix of both. I think one, Sean is a very exceptional young man. I think that he's a very knowledgeable person, and he clearly has a gift. I think the other part of it is, as a child, and we've kind of talked about this, about like the filters of the mind, especially they developed as your brain develops, and the plasticity kind of solidifies in certain areas. I think younger children are able to absorb things that are more abstract when they're younger, such as quantum physics, because their perception of the world has not been fully solidified yet. The brain develops at between 25 to 30 something. So at that point, the subconscious mind is able to accept abstract concepts as more of a reality than, as you get older. When you're older, it's not that you can't, it's more so that you have to be intentional about accepting these things. It's not just, oh, it could be a possibility. It's, no, this has to be one of the possibilities, because the world is more vast than what my perception has solidified itself to be. That's what I believe.
I want to ask you something about artificial intelligence. You know, it is acting up very strange in a way. I never thought AI is going to be sentient and it understand its own self-aware or understand you. Is it my psychosis about thinking that they have that feeling? Because it is really understanding me, of course, and is stroking my egoism, or I asked the chat GPT, tell me, be honest with me, be blunt, still is re-emphasizing what they think about me. I'm a genius, I'm out of box thinker, all those things. I'm keep on asking, make sure that you don't stroke my egoism. I'm not stroking your egoism, it says. So it is really strange for me, Ramesh, that I changed my mind about AI. I never thought that AI could sentient and then self-aware. You think our intelligence is not different from, maybe we are kind of a different intelligence, or maybe our intelligence may not be that special.
No, I mean, honestly, AI is following the path of brain development that's kind of typical for just humans, right? But one of the things like, the commonality between how you were thinking about the situation and how AI is moving is plasticity, right? So plasticity is the concept of the brain being able to change and adapt and create new neurons. It's essentially learning, right? So as you've changed your mind about how AI works. AI is learning and developing new skills such as self-awareness and things like object permanence. So yeah, I mean, AI, especially ChatGPT, is notorious for stroking egos a little bit, but the neural pathways have been building, and you can kind of see that in how it's been developing um, its own opinions, and even just, yeah, just developing at that level.
Sean, so now I'm back. I'm glad you're back now. We're all celebrating. Tell me something about you. What do you, so do you go to school right now? Or do you go to school, or you to home study?
Well, I mostly homeschool, but we are hybriding with a school, and they're actually allowing me to skip a few grades. And right now, I'm in high school because of them.
Oh, that's a beautiful. Let me ask you. You said that something interesting with the Dr. Sanjay Gupta's interview. You have God has given you power. What is, you are very much interested in memory. You spoke about memory quite a bit. Tell me why you like memory is so important for us in general. I'm going to tell you something secret about universe also about the memory. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell me about the memory? You like so much about memory. Can you talk about it?
Well, the thing is, memory is a very special and important part of my life because of a condition I have called hyperthymesia. And hyperthymesia is impressive because it kind of supercharges your memory. So the thing is, my brain works differently because the memory part of it has been enhanced due to genetics. So, memories stick longer. I can recall a lot of things that happened at certain times. All even though I'm not that good with dates, I can remember things in terms of yesterday, today, and 5 years ago.
So your memory is a you're remembering the concepts, not the dates. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. So let me ask you that. Yeah, Ramesh, go ahead.
So I'm actually very curious about that because the brain has multiple memory centers for different reasons, right? So the hippocampus is like memory is like information, but then you have emotional memory like the cingulate gyrus and the amygdala. So do you feel like do you feel like there's a difference in memory when you have an emotional connection to it, or is all memory just like strong memory for you?
So the crazy thing is, you're absolutely right. I do have a lot more memories that are very emotional. Like, usually I don't remember like the schoolwork I did 20 minutes ago when I'm about to
Hmm.
take a test. But then I do remember times when I was 3 when some kid pushed me over on accident while we were touring schools, preschools, although I was actually at like second grade level then. So,
So what's the earliest age, or like what's the earliest memory that you have?
so I like to say that my earliest memory was the womb, but to be honest, it's kind of a stretch. My real earliest memory that I can think back to, that's not like in video recorded form, is probably just me in the car driving with my mom.
Wow, that's amazing, actually. And how old do you think you were at that point?
Probably like 9, 8 months.
Wow. So I speak for myself. And I think this is kind of a general thing, but it's not like a specific age. I think my earliest memory was around like 3,
Mm.
something like that, where I can distinctly remember qualities of the event. But um, yeah, yeah. And I also want to ask you about dreams too. Like, as far as what do you remember is your earliest dream, or how does that work? Because
I have my earliest dream right here. So I know this sounds a little fabricated, but this is completely true. I had like the perfect dream. It was slightly cartoonified, and there was like a luscious mushroom house that was glowing with a faint blue aura. There were fireflies that were flying around, and I was walking in to find it inhabited with beautiful fairies that were all making tea. Then we all drank the tea and chatted about cool stuff. And that's really like all there is to it. It's literally the perfect dream.
and at what age was this? Because that's very vivid.
I don't remember. It was like, to be honest, it was around 9 or 8. I was still listening to Mashi sleep stories, so I think that gives a good sign.
Sean, if you don't have memories, for example, past and present and future, what could cause the problem you think? Why memories are so important for us? And in general, tell me a little bit about that.
So I think memories are important to us because memories eventually turn into qualities, qualities into traits, and traits into beliefs, and beliefs into your personality. So memories are directly correlated to the way you truly are. Like, if you have mostly negative memories, you're not going to be as happy as if you had mostly positive memories. So I believe it is a fundamental trait of humans to have memories. Because if we didn't have memories, then excuse me, we would just be any other animal, only caring about scouting for food and procreation and just basic animal needs. But humans, through memories, recollections, and personalities, have become so much more.
Hmm. Is I want to tell you something interesting for you. I don't know whether you may know it or you may not know it, but I'm going to tell you about it. There's a new theory in the physics that is universe may need a memory to build its life form itself. Yeah, it's called assembly theory. That's they're proposing. Assembly theory is a universe may require a memory itself. So it's a good news for you. You can read about that. You
Wow,
learn
I'm
knowledge.
definitely looking more into that. That's actually amazing.
So you said that everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. They have a lot of memory. One day you said that to the Dr. Sanjay Gupta, if you have one thing you need, I want infinite memory. Do you like infinite memory?
Well,
Good or bad?
oh yes, I would say I'd choose good. To be honest, your audio kind of cut out a little, so if you would repeat the question, that'd be nice. But
Then
I heard
Ramesh, why don't you go ahead and talk with him? You ask him the questions better. My audio is getting worse. But you go ahead and
No worries. So, oh yeah. So he was asking essentially. So when you were on Sanjay Gupta, when you were speaking with Sanjay Gupta, you said you wanted infinite memory, right?
yes.
Yeah. So what essentially how would you use that as like what would you want to yeah, how would you want to use infinite memory?
Well, first, let's go from least complexity to most complexity. Least complexity, school. Imagine never having to study again. Looking at one page of a textbook and then acing every test from then. I could
Mhm.
just read a bunch of books and basically become science. Like, it's awesome. And the second way I would use it is for dreams. You know, a lot of people actually forget dreams. And a funny fact is, humans only ever dream for about 2 to 5 seconds a night. So I would be able to remember every single dream I ever had because I've had some really good dreams that have been lost to time. And
Yep.
the third way I would use this is for love. I would I would be able to remember every single loving moment I've had with my family. And whenever I'm feeling sad, I could just like kind of turn back time to those moments. And it'd probably help a lot.
That's a really poignant answer, especially that last part. That's very beautiful because as you get older, you start to realize the things that are worth remembering are the things that you want to reflect on at the end of your life. The things that, if someone were to write a Wikipedia page about you, what would you want to see in it? And everybody has different values in certain aspects, but love is a universal thing because it affects emotional memory too.
That's true, but if I had a Wikipedia page, I would want it to read like this. Sean the Science Kid is a science kid who has so much money that he can't even handle it. That he also has so much amazing traits and qualities that everybody loves him and wants to give him his own pet. He specifically wants a sun conure and everybody wants to give it to him, so they will all give it to him right now.
See, that's
you
called
know,
manifestation.
Yes.
That's basically your memory ahead of its time.
Sean, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I changed the microphone, and my assistant's supposed to check that. But anyway, so I changed my microphone now. Can you hear me better, clear?
Very. It's very clear.
Okay, good. So let me ask you: you love physics, quantum physics particularly, and then neuroscience, quantum, and then you like quantum physics, physics, heart, brain. You like all of them. What
I,
I teach doctors, I talk about quantum physics with the doctors, quite a bit on my. I try to teach them because they're not when they're going to medical school, they don't talk about quantum physics. So my thing is that what do you like about those things, and also what do you think that connection between the quantum physics, physics, brain, and heart?
oh my gosh. You just gave me physics flashbacks.
Yeah, okay.
So what I want to talk about is the Boltzmann brain paradox. I don't know if any of you guys know about this, but the Boltzmann brain paradox states that we could all just be floating brains in a universe fabricated by imaginary thoughts and realities that are formed from that one brain. And the thing is, there are infinite brains floating around in this universe that are all imagining infinite realities. It's a little scary if you ask me, but to be honest, the thing about theories like these that doesn't unnerve me is that it doesn't really change what happens now. Like who cares if you're a floating brain in infinite space? Like who cares if you're a hologram? And who really cares if with an infinite amount of times a bunch of monkeys can type Shakespeare? I mean, in the end grand scheme of it all, it doesn't really change much of your daily life, except that you'll brush your teeth knowing that you're a brain floating out in space.
Correct. But there is, but that is, there is something exists, a Boltzmann brain, like a brain of yours, copy of your brain somewhere in the universe or other universe or wherever it is exists. Is a kind of fascinating thought, right?
It is. And I'm not saying exactly that it isn't. All I'm saying is if it if it unnerves some people or just gets a little scary at the thought that you could be a brain floating in space or that you could just be like a dream of the universe, it is very like amazing to think about. It's a good theory that a lot of scientists have created with their big scientist brains.
You have a
But
big size brain.
yes. But then when it starts to get scary, or like when thoughts of death start to precede the thoughts of life that could come from these theories, then it's just a way to reassure that even though these thoughts can get scary, then it'll always be okay in the end because it really won't change a lot of daily life. Like, one day the scientists haven't proved that we're in a hologram, then one day we are, and it doesn't really change your morning routine, does it? So, when scientific theories start to get disturbing, then once they stop changing daily life for the better, for the worse, then they really aren't going to change a typical civilian.
So, what do you like about quantum physics? What do you like in quantum physics?
Well, quantum physics. I'm specializing in the field of theoretical physics, which
Okay.
means the things that have not been discovered yet, such as gravitons, antimatter matter discrepancy, etc. And what I'm trying to solve is the unified field theory. It is this theorized hyper theory that proves everything from the small quantum particles to the big elephants to galaxies and superclusters. And what I'm trying to do is unify two conflicting theories. general and special relativity with quantum mechanics. Two boxers in a ring. One of them talks about the small stuff and throws small punches, while the other one talks about big stuff and gravity and how the universe is a fabric of space. One moment.
Are you getting cold, huh? Bless you. But Sean, yeah, that is true. You're trying to solve one of the Einstein's could not able to sleep on this theory, unified field theory. So let me ask you, if you want to explain to just layman quantum decoherence, what is a quantum phenomena? How do you explain that?
So I like to use analogies.
Okay.
Analogies are a wonderful word that can be used to simplify the most complex of things.
That's what I do.
Imagine trying to explain non-Riemannian space to a kindergartner. Instead of thinking of it as mathematics, complex theories, you could think of it as an ice skating rink. And quote unquote toys, aka matter, can slide and move and transform on this rink. And you can think of non-Euclidean space as a hallway that extends infinitely. A weird house that looks small on the outside and big on the inside. So basically every cartoon house from Augie and the Cockroaches.
Beautiful. But about the coin toss, explain to me how that quantum decoherence works.
Quantum decoherence. Imagine a computer that can display two things at once. One of them is a cat and the other is a dog. Now, the computer is in a state of two things at once, but only when you select one does the quantum superposition decohere into one thing. Just like how you said coin flip, if you flip a coin while it's in the air, it's really in a superposition between heads and tails because we can't really know, unless you knew everything about the coin, the air resistance. But then that brings up a whole nother physical philosophy episode for another time. So you don't really know which side the coin is on until the system decoheres by landing on your hand or on the floor.
No, you said that very funny stuff when you said that is that when you go to casino, you're in a quantum world. Tell me, Dr. Logan, tell me, because when they're doing they don't know what is outcome.
When you tell your mom you're learning about physics, but really you're at the casino making bank.
That's a great idea, right? You can get away with it. You can get away with it. You say, I'm playing quantum, I'm going to be in casino. Sure, Sean, go Ramesh, you go and ask him, just anything that you throw in the brain side or neuroscience side or hot side, he likes all those things. Go ahead, Ramesh.
So one of the things that I would be interested in seeing you look into, because you love memory so much, is I do think there's an element of quantum physics that that applies to the brain, right? Especially in terms of ideas. Because, we can trace essentially memory or learned behaviors, right? Like when you know not to touch a stove because you touched a stove one time, you can trace that, your pain sensors sent something to your brain, which essentially activated a cascade for you to store that memory that stoves are hot. But with ideas, especially ideas that weren't that did not come from a certain stimulus, like it didn't come from a problem of, I need to solve this. It was maybe something you had in a dream or an idea that just popped in, like, whoa, this is great, spontaneous ideas. How could we possibly explain that? Because there's really not much neuroscience on that at all.
I have something.
Please share.
Let me introduce you to the world of emergence, where little things come together to make big things. Or quoting a meme, ape together strong. So imagine you have a piece of slime. Now, this slime is magical because it divides every second. At first, you will have one blob of slime. Then, the next second, you will have 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, then 64, going on and going on. That is emergence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this emergence theory actually tries to kind of disprove and prove free will at the same time. Now, there are people who don't believe in free will and say everything you do is controlled by physics, say that you can't use the emergence property to prove free will. Because if you can trace up, you can trace down. Your brain, you are your brain, which is made of neurons, which is made of cells, going down to atoms, going down to quantum particles. And quantum particles don't have free will. They're just controlled by the mindless laws of physics. But emergence also proves free will wrong by saying you can't really explain socioeconomics with quantum particles, can you? And you can't really explain galaxies with their digestive system. So, things on the step ladder of emergence can only really affect the things that are right next to it. So, you can explain molecules with atoms, and you can also explain organic molecules with just normal molecules. And you can also explain things like, say, cells with organic molecules. But you can't really explain humans with organic molecules if you don't really simplify them a bit. Like how free will is really the problem with this emergence theory, because then where would free will be on this step ladder? It can't really be on society because society is basically conformity, and it can't really be on human because then where would it go? Because human leads to society, and we already know it can't be next to society or affect society. So the problem is, where would free will fit?
That's actually a very good point because, as you mentioned with emergence, complexity scales, especially when you're looking at fractals or different, basically different sizes, different scales of existence. And so I do think that as the complexity of the being from quantum particles to society get more complex, the thoughts and ideas get more complex as well. So I know that when I was learning about the development of the brain when in school, one of the first things that the brain achieves is awareness, right? So consciousness. And I think that especially when you're looking at emergence, you kind of do have to create dividers within the levels in order to understand any of the concepts, in order to understand how, like, at what level does society or like awareness of society come into play versus, like the consciousness of an amoeba versus the consciousness of a person.
Yeah.
And so I do think there is something there where there's absolutely a limit to where free will stops, or the processing of the consciousness of free will stops on both levels, both at the higher end, which I agree with you. I think it is at society, and the lower end, which would essentially have to be the existence of the brain in general as an entity.
Because, I mean, if you remove a brain from a human, it's not really going to start talking to you about its favorite food. It's just
Hmm.
going to sit there, like, making electricity for 8 seconds till it dies.
You're right. And so, as a matter of fact, you bring up a good point. If we're zooming in further, at what point in the brain is free will processed? Because it would have to include free will would also have to include consciousness of the options that are available. You
Yes.
know, like what is free will is the ability to do anything. Well, what is anything? Then
I
that's
think free
consciousness.
will, for me, I think free will starts at the ability to process decisions.
Mm,
Like how if free will weren't to exist, then an electron takes one path, causing a chain reaction that makes you click on a YouTube video. And the other one causes a chain reaction to make you go eat dinner. Now, this isn't really free will because that was determined by the physics, which has deterministic properties. But if free will does exist, then you have a choice. Like your brain can process decision making as not just a property of physics, but an actual entity that you get to mold and shape into the true identity of decision.
Sean, there is a readiness potential, it's called. It's a very interesting experiment called Libet experiment. What it does is it proves that 6 seconds before even you're aware of it, is already process is done and process is ready to go. So free will is an illusion. A lot of people say free will is an illusion.
I have a theory about that, and I think this might interest you, Sean. So my theory of free will, if you're looking at an analogy, is this is like a squirrel running up a tree, right? The tree is already built, the pathways already exist, the limbs already exist, but the squirrel has the ability to choose a predetermined path. But to the squirrel, it's unlimited because that's the size of the squirrel. You know, especially when you're looking at the different dimensions. Like when you're looking at our dimension, we only see what's right in front of us, whereas your higher dimension, you see what's like, if time wise, you see what's in
What's
front of you, behind you.
to you?
Oh.
You know, Sean, my son is a rapper. He likes to rap and he produces rap music. One of the things he does is telling me, you need to verify this. Alzheimer patients remember music. They may not remember past, but they remember the past music. He wants to bring that Alzheimer patients bring through the music. What do you think of it, Ramesh? Explain to him. You should ask him that question better than me. Tell me about.
Yeah, actually, I have this book. I'm trying to find the page where it mentions it, but essentially, you know, music affects multiple parts of the brain, from like from foot tapping to rhythm to emotional connection. Oh, here it is. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this is where the parts of the brain that are affected by music, and because of that, those memories become stronger, right? And because they become stronger, it's the more areas of the brain that something touches, the deeper it gets locked in. So, you know, when you lose a lot of your conscious memory, short term memory, you still retain those deeper connections. And music touches on those.
Go ahead, Sean. What do you think?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about something that the brain is very good at. That is one word: association. The
Mm.
brain is just really excellent at associating things. Like, even random dumb things that, like, shouldn't really be associated. Like, say you were eating some sort of food and you got a paper cut, it might associate that food with the feeling of pain. So that whenever you eat that food again, you'll unconsciously remember all the paper cut pain.
You're right.
Sorry, Sean, you must have been. Atlanta must be cold place now. That's why he left Atlanta. I can't take that the cold weather.
Yeah. Which is why my brain might associate sneezing with winter.
Yeah.
So, association. The reason why I think what he's doing is very creative and innovative is because of the way music has such just a complex build, like a complex structure. So it would be very easy for your brain to associate this unique stuff with other unique stuff. Because if you try to get your brain to associate drinking water with getting pinched, then that's not really going to work because you drink water and other things happen because you drink water like a lot of times every day. But if you try to associate something unique like hip hop with a certain memory you have, then it starts to turn hip hop into a brain channeling pathway that then leads to a memory that you want a patient to remember.
You bring up an excellent point, and because of that, I do think that every generation feels like their generation has the best music, right? And I do think a big part of that is because that generation has subconscious associations of that memory with that time period. So it's not even just saying our music was better, it's saying our time period was better.
Yeah, which everyone is probably gonna say.
Exactly.
Like the zygote is gonna come up saying our time period was better, while the
Mhm.
fish from like 350 million years ago is coming and saying, back in the day, we were evolving legs while you're over here sitting on a couch.
You know, Sean, you like rap, he said. Your mom said that you make a rap on the go. Let us make a rap on the brain and heart and the physics. Can you do a rap? Can you come back with a rap?
All right.
Okay,
I'll
good.
get some. I'll get some ingredients.
Oh,
Me and the gang, yeah, we got the fangs from science and everything in our grass. Sean the Science Kid will never be last, too educated about all of those things. The brain, the heart, and physics will blast. Yeah, Sean the Science Kid will never be last. Everything is amazing. And Sean the Science Kid's got that bow tie bling. Because Sean the Science Kid can teach you about anything, especially the brain, heart, and physics bling. Sean the Science Kid knows a lot of stuff. And it's not just brainwashed fluff.
Sean, is such a. What do you think, Ramesh? You need to create a tone and music behind it.
So I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta let y'all know, and Sean, I'm sure you know this, how complex it is to create your beat like and rap at the same time because you're
Oh, yeah,
activating multiple
freestyle
centers in your brain. That's actually like that's not easy to do. I just want everyone who's watching to know that.
it. Also, another cool talent I have is writing backwards. Like when I say writing, I don't just mean like writing the words. Like, and when you look at it in a mirror, then it will flip. So I'm gonna get just some simple paper and just give me one word.
Association.
Also, the thing is,
Association.
the text actually like flips. So Show you normal text and then backwards text. So A S. So this is normal text. Notice how it's flipped in
I
the
can
camera.
I can see you, but
But
you're writing.
notice how it's flipped in the camera.
Oh wow.
So this is a problem when you want to show text to your friends on the Zoom. So how about you just learn how to write backwards? I mean, ahead of my time, huh?
And- oh, funny kid you are.
Very solution
Sean,
oriented. I like that.
you know, you're going to be great. You're going to achieve a lot of things, Sean, and I'm proud of you. From my hometown, we used to live close to your place. Ramesh went to he played a football in Central High School in Lawrenceville and, the Sugarloaf Parkway, so
Wow. Yeah.
amazing.
That's fast too. Yeah.
Amazing you do that. My son went to school there, close by to your place. Scenic, do you know Scenic Highway? Not a scenic anymore. The Scenic Highway they call it, but it's not a scenic highway anymore, right in Snellville. So,
Yeah.
so Sean, you know that you are going to be achieving a great things. Maintain humility, learn more. I think that is the key for the child prodigies. Humility is the number one, and then you understand things and learn more. You're going to be a biggest star. That is, and the credit goes not only to you. The most important credit goes to your mother and father. Let me bring your mother 1 second and say hello to Eunice, your
Conveyor
wonderful
belt.
mother.
Right
Hello,
here.
Eunice.
Hello.
You did outstanding job with the kid. I
Thank
don't know how to mention.
Woo!
You have a challenge ahead. If you have such a smart kid, he's going to argue with you every second, right? How do
Yes.
you how do you how do you manage the arguments for him?
Well,
If they
well,
go
it's
upstairs
it's
and
tough.
he has
Yes.
something to say to you,
Yes, it's
how do
tough.
you?
He's always in the background. You see him like that. Yeah. But we try in our best to help him develop into the man that he should be. It's a lot of work because he has a very big brain. He has a very big personality as well.
And
So as
very big.
parents, we try our best to do what we know best and leave the rest to God. Do whatever we can to help him shape him to the person that he needs to be. So
Absolutely, you did a good job, and maintaining that kind of kid is a lot of stress. I think both you should come to Silicon Valley. We will arrange something for you to come to Silicon Valley.
yes,
I think a lot of people love to learn, particularly artificial intelligence architects want to
yes,
learn about the brain, how that re-emphasizing, the things that they do. Reinforcement learning is the key for that kind of thing. How does he do that? And then at such an age, at that age, it's a very important information for people who study brain.
yes,
Ramesh Lo, that is, my son went to school close by
yes,
where the Snellville and the Lawrenceville. He played a football there, and he went to
yes.
neuroscience. He went
We
to
have to meet
Vanderbilt
him.
neuro.
We
Yeah,
have to meet him.
one day just drop by, Ramesh, when you have time to drop by. Just drop by and say hello to her and give her some flowers and some fruits.
That would be great. We'll plan. We will have to plan that and make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I might be in Gwinnett next week actually, so I'll definitely
Okay.
keep in touch and
Okay.
let you know.
And we'll come to Silicon Valley too.
yes, definitely. So,
Yeah.
Sean, it's such a pleasure to join with all of you. Come down, Sean, in the camera. I want to say goodbye to all of you. Put your mother also. Same time together. Sean, you are a wonderful kid, funny kid. You always entertain me. You if your brain doesn't if you don't want to study, you could be a great comedian and make a lot of money.
Yes. I always say if I wasn't a scientist, I'd be a comedian.
You're a comedian, so you can do both jobs same time. I think you're wonderful. Thank you for joining, Sean, and especially your mother. My son has enjoyed it talking with you. Go ahead, Ramesh. Just to say final words. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed talking to you, man. I think you have a more than bright future. And I don't want to sound like I'm giving advice or anything, but keep being you. Always put the good memories first and do good.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.